Hello everyone, myself Shivansh Rai, and today's topic for the presentation is 8259A, that is also known as Programmable Interrupt Controller. Now, first of all, let us talk about what is an interrupt to the microprocessor. So an interrupt is an input signal to the processor indicating that an event needs immediate attention. An interrupt signal alerts the processor and serves as a request for the processor to interrupt the currently executing code so that the event can be processed in a timely manner. Now let's talk about what is an 8259 PIC. The 8259 is known as the Programmable Interrupt Controller microcontroller, and it is used to expand the interrupts of 8085 and 8086, which are 8085 can have only 5 hardware interrupts and 8086 has only 2 hardware interrupts. So using 8259 we can expand the interrupts of 8085 and 8086. One 8259 can accept 8 interrupt requests and allow them one by one to the processor INTR pin. 8259 can also be used in cascaded mode to expand the interrupt up to 64, which we will talk about later. Now let's see the pin details of the 8259. So here we can see that chip select, first pin is chip select and the last pin is CS2. Now 8259 is a 28 pin IC. The leftmost one is the number wise pin diagram, and whereas the rightmost diagram here on the screen we can see is the DIP. Now the middle one shows the pin and its description, which says D0 to D7 pins are bidirectional data lines, which is same for the microprocessor as well. Now RD bar is read control, which is active low, same as microprocessor. Write bar, write control, again active low. A0 is the internal address. CS bar is chip select, which is again active low. SP/EN, slave program/enable buffer, which is again active low. INTA is interrupt output given by the 8259A, and INTA bar is again interrupt acknowledged input given to the 8259A by the microprocessor. Now IR0 and IR7, these are the interrupt request pins for the 8259. Now let's move on to the features of 8259. So 8259 can be programmed to work with 8085 and 8086, which I told you earlier. Now it manages 8 interrupts according to the instructions written to its control registers. The properties of interrupts are programmable. It can be programmed to be either level triggered or edge triggered. Also the priority of the interrupts can be programmed as well. And we can also mask or unmask each interrupt individually. It does not require external clock cycle, which is a major benefit of using 8259 because there is no need to put an external hardware. It can work with CPU clock. Now let's see interfacing of 8259 with 8085. So here we can see what do we need. We need an 8085 along with a 8-bit latch and 328 decoder and an Intel 8259. So now we can see that it requires 2 internal address lines, A0 and A1. It can be either memory mapped or IO mapped in the system. The interfacing of 8259 to 8085 shown above is IO mapped in the system. The low order data lines D0 to D7 are connected to D0 to D7 of 8259. The address line A0 of the 8085 processor is connected to the A0 line of the 8259 to provide the internal address. 8259 requires one chip select signal. Using 328 decoder generates a chip select signal for 8259. So we have seen that A5, 6, 7 pin of the 8085 are connected to the 328 decoder, and then the decoder generates a chip select signal for 8259, which is further connected. Now the address lines, I told you A4, 5, 6, like A4, A5 and A6 are input to the decoder. Now the control signal IO/memory mapped, which is again active low, is used as logic high enables for decoder, and the address line A7 is used as logic low enable for decoder. The IO addresses of 8259 we can see in the table that for A0 of 8259 to be 0, A1, A0, A2, A4, sorry, pardon me, A0, A4, A5, A6, A7 need to be low, and A2, A3, A4 are in don't care condition, and hence the hexa address we obtain is 0, 0, 0, 0. And for A0 of 8259 to be 1, A0 is high, again A4, A5, A6 and A7 are low, and A2, A3 and A1 are in don't care condition, and the hexa address we obtain is 0, 1. Now let's see working of 8259 with 8085. First, the 8259 should be programmed by sending initialization command word and operational command word. So these command word will inform 8259 about the type of interrupt signal, whether it is level triggered or edge triggered, the type of processor, whether it is connected to 8085 or 8086, because both have different number of hardware interrupts. So also call address and its interval, that is 4 to 8, and we have to also program the mask of interrupt, which are masked and which are not masked, priority of interrupts needed to be programmed, and the type of end of interrupts. And next is 8259 is programmed. Once it is programmed, it is ready for accepting interrupt signal. When it receives an interrupt through any one of the interrupt lines, that is IR0 to IR7, it checks it for its priority as we have programmed it, and then checks whether it is masked or not. Now if the previous interrupt is completed and if the current request has highest priority and unmasked, then it is serviced, else it looks for whatever has the highest priority. For servicing this interrupt, the 8259 will send INT signal to the INTR pin of 8085, that is interrupt signal to the interrupt pin of 8085. When the processor accepts the interrupt, it sends the INTA low one by one, and in response to first, second and third INTA low signals, 8259 will supply call opcode, low byte of call address and high byte of call address respectively. Once the processor receives the call opcode and its address, it saves the content of program counter in stack and load the call address in PC, and start executing the interrupt service routine stored in this call address. So once it takes the data from 8259, the 8085 stores it in stack pointer and then call the addresses from PC and then executes it. Now let's have a look at the functional block diagram of 8259. So it has 8 function blocks, namely control logic, read write logic, data bus buffer, interrupt request register, in service register, interrupt mask register, priority resolver and cascade buffer. Now let's first see the functional block diagram. Here we can see the control logic, interrupt mask register and all the other 6 functional blocks as well. Now let's talk about control logic. So for servicing interrupt, the 8259 will send INT signal to the INTR pin of 8085. When the processor accepted the interrupts, it sends 3 INTA low one by one low signals to one by one, and in response the first INTA low signal, that is 8259 supplies the opcode, and the second INTA low signal, it is the low byte of the call address, that address which is needed to be called, and the third interrupt low signal is the high byte of the call address, that is the upper end of the call address. Now once the processor receives the call opcode and its addresses, it saves the content of the program counter in stack and load the call address in PC, and then start executing the interrupt service routine stored in the call address. Now let's talk about data bus buffer. As it suggests, the data bus and its buffer are used for the following activities. The processor sends control word to the data bus buffer through D0 to D7 lines, and the processor reads status word from data lines, that is D0 to D7, and from the data bus buffer the 8259 call opcode and address through D0 to D7 to the processor. So the the control that we talk about, sending the logics, sending the data, that is higher address and lower address and the opcode, that is done through data bus buffer. Now read write logic, that is the processor uses the read or write, that both are active low, and the A0 to whether read or write from 8259 or not. 8259 is selected by chip select logic, that is active low again, like I told earlier. Now let's talk about interrupt mask register. So the interrupt mask register stores the masking bits of the interrupt lines to be masked. The relevant information is sent by the processor through OCW, that is operational command word. Now interrupt request register, the IR that has 8 input lines, like I said, IR0 to IR7 for the interrupts. When these lines go high, the request is stored in the IRR, that is interrupt request register. It registers the request only if the interrupt is unmasked. If we have programmed the interrupt to be masked, then it won't register any information regarding it. And normally IR0 has the highest priority and IR7 has the lowest priority. But as I told you that this is programmable, so we can program the priorities of the interrupt pins IR0 to IR7 as we want them to be. Now next is in-service register. The in-service register keeps track of which interrupt is currently being serviced, like its name suggests. And the next is priority resolver. Priority resolver examines the interrupt request, the masking and the in-service registers, and determines whether INT signal should be sent to the processor or not. So priority resolver takes an account of interrupt request register, interrupt mask register and in-service register to decide whether the next interrupt should be the next signal should be sent to the processor or not. Now, and the last is cascade buffer comparator. The cascade buffer comparator is used to expand the interrupts of 8259, like I told earlier, so that the number of interrupts can be extended up to 64. Thank you, and hope you have had the basic idea of 8259A.